Hi, guys, and welcome to the Truth Factor headlines with an attitude here today. We have just a few headlines and we're going to get right into them. I want to tell Watchman I found the article or a few articles about the ship that he was talking about. And I'll tell you, it just kind of is, it's crazy all the things that are coming out. But thank you so much for that extra information last night when we were doing that stream. I found it, Watchman, I found it. God is so good. He is. Anyway, so let's get into these articles. And it is the first article that we have up here. It's this one right here, guys. Ukraine claims sinking of a Russian naval ship in the port. Ukraine claims its aircraft hit and sank the Russian naval vessel Novorossiysk while the ship was in the port of Fedosia on Crimea. Numerous confirmations of a very large explosion in the port came on a video on Christmas Day, but whether the ship was hit or an ammunition dump exploded is in dispute. So let's kind of look at this in just 3 seconds. That's all. That is a pretty big explosion there, guys. I would definitely say. The ship, allegedly loaded with Iranian ammunition, was reportedly blown up, and as a result, a fire broke out on the port. Here is a file of the photo of the ship. According to Russian affiliate, media residents reported hearing loud bangs and seeing plumes of smoke. Traffic on the Crimea bridge was blocked, and Sergei Askenva, the head of the Russian authorities in Crimea, stated that an enemy attack was carried out on the Fedosia area and the port was cordoned off. Ukraine also claims there were 300 crew aboard and they are all dead, but that does not seem to comport with the fact that a ship in port would not likely have its full crew aboard. And I agree with that. Um, but obviously something happened, right? But there is another article from End Time Headlines here about this attack. It says that it caused a significant blow to Putin. Ukraine struck this large landing warship in Crimea, cruise missiles in an overnight attack, and killed at least one person and could hinder any Russian attempt to seize more Ukrainian territory along the Black Sea coast. The Russian defense minister, cited by the Interfax news agency, said Ukraine had used air-launched missiles to attack the Crimean port of Fedosia, and the Novchas large landing ship had been damaged. Russian Defense Ministry Sergei Shogov had a briefed Vladimir Putin, president, in a detail about the attack on Kremlin. Said Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014 in a move to Kyiv, and the West condemned as an illegal seizure. Ukrainian Air Force's spokesperson Yuri Inat said that he thought it would be hard for Novosharks, which can carry tanks and armored vehicles, and be used to land troops ashore to re-enter service. We can see how powerful the explosion was, that the detonation was like, and after it was very hard for a ship to survive because this was not a rocket. This was a detonation of munitions, he told Radio Free Europe. Ukraine had used cruise missiles in the attack without specifying what kind. Inat said both Britain and France have supplied Kyiv with such missiles. Russia has hinted to that it may try to seize more Ukrainian territory along the Black Coast. Putin earlier this month said Odessa, the headquarters of Ukraine's own navy, was a Russian city. Footage posted on Russian news outlets on Telegram, purportedly from the port, showed powerful explosions detonating and fires burning. Unverified social media videos purporting to capture the strike showed a vast explosion and ballooning flames lighting up the night sky. An unverified daytime photograph, which Ukraine bloggers claim showed the ship's remain, depicted a charred, elongated clump of debris emerging out of the water by a dock. Sergei Askonovi, the Russian installed a governor of Crimea, said on Telegram that one person has been killed. The RIA news agency said 4 people had been injured. Although Ukrainian counteroffensive has made little in the way of battlefield gains and the Russian military has regained the initiative in several places, Ukraine has been able to launch a series of attacks on Crimea, the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, inflicting serious damage. So Indeed, there was another incident other than the one that we covered last night um, in the Red Sea there, or the Middle East. Anyway, so then we also have the U.S. striking Iran-backed forces, including Kataib Hezbollah in Iraq. And this is from End Time Headlines. The U.S. forces carried out strikes on 3 sites used by Iran-backed forces in Iraq after an earlier attack left 3 American personnel injured. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin described the strikes as necessary and proportionate. Today, at POTUS direction, U.S. military forces conducted necessary proportionate strikes on 3 facilities used by Kataib Hezbollah and affiliated groups in Iraq. These precision strikes are a response to a series of attacks against the U.S. personnel in Iraq and in Syria by Iranian-sponsored militias, including an attack by Iran-affiliated Kataib Hezbollah and affiliated groups in Arab air base earlier today, Austin said in a statement that also shared on X, formerly Twitter. Today's attack, the statement said, wounded 3 U.S. personnel and condition of one of them is critical. My prayers are with the brave Americans who were injured today, Austin said. The U.S. Defense Secretary said that Biden will not hesitate to take necessary action to defend the U.S. And let me be clear, the president and I will not hesitate to take necessary action to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests. There is no higher priority. While we do not seek to escalate conflict in the region, we are committed and fully prepared to take further necessary measures to protect our people and our facilities, the statement said. Then we also have Zero Hedge reporting on the U.S. destroyer 3 militant bases in Iraq after multiple Americans wounded in the Christmas Day attacks. The U.S. has retaliated after at least 3 troops were wounded, with at least 1 critical amid the recent stepped-up spat of attacks by Iran-backed militias in Iraq and Syria. There have been over 100 of these since mid-October related to the Gaza war, but the U.S. has struggled to establish the deterrence. Instead, Americans remain in harm's way amid an ongoing occupation. U.S. military forces conducted necessary and proportionate strikes on 3 facilities used by Kataib, Hezbollah, and affiliated groups in Iraq. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had announced in a Christmas Day statement. It was reported that done with one-way attack drones and thus appears to have been limited in scope compared to a prior couple of operations which involved airstrikes on multiple militant bases and facilities in Iraq and Syria. The attack, which left American troops wounded, happened in Iraq, Kurdistan, Erbil, which has long been generally considered a safer and a more stable base of operations for the U.S. and coalition troops. Though such rocket and drone attacks have been happening and increased regularity, there's a likelihood this one was intentionally timed with holiday of Christmas, according to the details by the AP. Then we have Biden, who was spending Christmas at his presidential retreat at Camp David. Maryland was alerted about the attack by the White House National Security Advisor Jack Sullivan shortly after it occurred on Monday and ordered the Pentagon and his top national security aides to prepare response options to the attack on the airbase used by American troops in Erbil. Biden then convened his national security team and ordered a retaliatory attack. The president places no higher priority than the protection of American personnel serving in harm's way. A follow-up U.S. Central Command statement said, the United States will act in a time and manner in our choosing should these attacks continue. And here is one of those videos. Looks like fire trucks, and then there is. And this is one of the locations targeted by the U.S. 2 hours ago in Hilla, Babel, Iraq. Here in a minute. Anyway, so there is that. Then we also have Hal Turner. The U.S. Navy is escorting merchant ships in the Red Sea. The United States Navy has begun escorting merchant vessels through the Red Sea in an effort to protect such ships from an attack by the Houthis in Yemen. The Houthis have imposed what they say is a naval blockade against the state of Israel because Israel is slaughtering Palestinians in the Gaza. So anyway, the U.S. previously announced the creation of this Combat Task Force 153 consisting of naval vessels and U.S. and several allies to protect such merchants. But several countries like France and Spain have decided against participating and are instead escorting their own country vessels. Whether such naval protection will work as intended is not yet known. Also unknown is whether the Houthis will simply target both the commercial ship and the Navy vessels. But I guess we will find out shortly, won't we? Yes, indeed. All right. Then we also have from Hal Turner, President Abbas of Palestinian Authority told resign or no more aid money. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have reportedly told the president of Palestine, Mohammed Abbas, that he must resign as president and dissolve the current government in order to appoint a Saudi and a UAE-approved government, or else they will halt all further financial aid to the Palestinian territories. Why the Saudis and the UAE would do something like this at a time when Israel is slaughtering Palestinians in the Gaza Strip is a question that seems to have only one answer: bought off by Israel. Let's see. We are to this one here. Confirmed Israel is planning to dislocate all 2.3 million Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. Here is Gaza 2030. Looks like a bunch of resorts, right? Advertisements are now appearing in Israeli publications touting Gaza 2030, showing the entire Gaza Strip as a luxury beachfront resort and no Palestinians. On such ads shown above shows what it is said they are actually planning for the Gaza Strip once the Palestinians are forcibly dislocated from their homes. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu told Liquid Conference that Netanyahu confirmed during the Liquid Party session that work is underway to find countries that want to absorb the residents of Gaza as refugees. So anyway, so he says that this is confirmation that they're planning on dropping a 2,000-pound bombs on them from fighter jets is now likely the actual plan. And again, that was Hal Turner. Then we have from Hal Turner, a year of record cold temperatures, but complete media blackout of it. During 2023, oh, you look cute. I see. I see. Let's see. During 2023, the media was dominated by reports of heat waves, forest fires, and droughts that would reach record levels, according to the media. This is the result of human-caused CC, right? In 2022, the United Nations General Antonio Guterres warned us that the code red for humanity. This was the result of the alleged global warming caused by CO2 emissions from human activists. In 2023, Guterres went on one step further and introduced his latest ultra-hyped rhetoric, declaring the era of global warming is over, the age of cooking has arrived. The UN chief made this chilling statement during the warm summer weather for maximum effect. Around the same time, the media claimed that July 23 was the hottest month on record. This coincidentally coincided with reports of the apocalyptic forest fires, the Mediterranean, Spain, Greece, and Italy, the U.S., Hawaii, and Canada. Yet it turns out in 2023 is a year of record cold temperatures. While the mass media simply ignores that fact, the total media blackout of the facts. Of course, we're supposed to assume that forest fires didn't exist before Industrial Revolution and imagine that average temperatures have been measured by millions of years, not just the past 150 years. For casual, uninformed corporate media viewers, it would easy to assume the UN Secretary General, Guterres, and the climate catastrophes. Anyway, guys, this here goes on more about the temperatures and everything else. It's a little bit winded here. It is in here, and then he's got his opinion, which I think his opinion is kind of in the writing also with a little bit of the facts, but that's just my opinion, right? But I've got other little articles here. So then we also have
Hi, guys.
Avery says, hi, guys. Will the war on coal leave America in the dark? The Biden administration promises to eliminate coal power throughout the United States. Energy experts are sounding the alarm about what will be left of the U.S. energy infrastructure if these plans succeed. We're going to be shutting these plants down all across America and having wind and solar power. Despite the ambiguous statements from Biden administration that is ending coal production in the United States, the supporters of the EPA's new rules insist that coal plants will be able to comply and continue to operate. This is ultimately a modest rule that builds upon Inflation Reduction Act, which will further support cost-effective compliance with proposed standards. This rule is not happening in isolation. We have 3 or 4 major environmental rules that the EPA is chasing. Anyway, guys, this is another one of those things that I tell you, we have rolling blackouts, guys, in the dead of winter, right? Rolling blackouts. That's all I'm going to say about that article, and we're going to continue on. We also have here, this is the other. Okay, so I want to, before we get into this little article here, hi there, Team Angel. Merry Christmas. Love you too, sister. Hello, Carol. I hear you. Just saying, I hear you. Okay, so I want to tell you, I had a strange dream, and I heard this phrase, and I'll tell you, to wake up to see this in the Gateway Pundit was kind of very stunning, and I will continue to press and pray to the Lord. But in 2015, the Lord gave me a word about water, and then here we are. I had a dream last night, and I saw water, and I saw like particles in the water. The water was still clear. It was clear, but there was, every now and then you could see these little black specks in the water. And then I heard that water will be as precious as gold. So that kind of, was like, okay, wow, Lord, and then I saw this here, and this here says that the C-19 detection in the United States wastewater, and here it goes from severe, high to moderate to low to minimal and no data available. And in these areas, there's no data available, the whites. Okay. But all this other, guys, it's in the red. It's in the red. And there's just a few places that are in the orange. I think this is orange down here. This is orange. But this is red. And this is red. And this is red. So pretty alarming, to say the very least. But right below this article, I have this here that says the JN1, the WHO's, this is from Fortune Well, the WHO's newest variant of interest has spiked the sea wastewater levels to an all-time highs in some countries. What you need to know about the pyrolyl offshoot. And there is this article. Guys, I am telling you, I am really pressed for time. I have just a couple of minutes, so I'm not going to be able to read this. But I'll tell you, this global health watchdog promoted the JN1 Omicron spawn. Experts flagged this summer for its unusual large numbers of mutations to a variant of interest, and is second only in alert level to a variant of concern designation Omicron Delta Alpha had until the organizations removed their status. So, but we see that the World Health Organization is pushing this COVID variant that some countries is sending wastewater levels of the virus skyrocketing to the highest point ever seen. So then it goes in, it tells you how dangerous could it derail your holiday plans, and here's what you need to know. I'm not going to get to read this to you. Unfortunately, guys, I didn't plan this out, and I started my stream late, and I do apologize. But I'll tell you, this is one of those ones that you'll definitely want to read and probably reread anyway. But there it is. And then we have also, this is the last article that I have up here. This one here is Democrats are flipping to Republicans in key swing states. I'm just going to read this first little line right here, guys. And I'll tell you, this is kind of, this better be, this is kind of saying, I think there's no way that they can, do too much. But the most up-to-date voter registration data from Pennsylvania Department of State shows that 35,589 registered Democrats have switched to their party affiliation Republican this year as of December 18, 2023. Comparably, 15,622 registered Republicans have switched their party affiliation to Democrat. There were also 20,908 former Democrats and 18,927 former Republicans who are now unaffiliated with either party. So I still think that this is, huge. And for anybody to say that it's no big deal and is going to really be shocked and surprised, right? Anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys. And that is it for today, guys. That's all I have. I do have this lovely For Your Eyes section. And I will tell you that there's this article about Trudeau installing free tampons in men's bathroom, an article about another major U.S. chip plant delaying mass production until after the election. The Gateway Pundit has this blueprint that I'll tell you you'll want to see. The Gateway Pundit also has this Muslim group, Doctors Against Genocide. Then we have a Newsweek article about China and U.S. relations. We know they're not good by no means. IRS tax bracket taking effect for your paycheck. Go get Papa. Okay. And then Fox News Media, NASA launches a mission to intercept a God Chaos asteroid scratches the Earth's orbit. So a few articles I tell you that, rather interesting to say the very least. But I am short for time today, guys, and I love you. Wanted to get these articles out to you. And I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. Again, we'll see you guys later. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Bye.